Good morning. It's now 12 weeks since I started Slimming World, and last night at weigh-in I weighed in at 14 stone 12 pounds. That is exactly 3 stone, and I got my 3 stone award. So, doing the maths, every 4 weeks I have lost a stone. Pretty good, I reckon. Put that down there. Well, how have I done it? Well, that's what this video is all about. As every YouTuber that does Slimming World seems to have to do, there are 5 top tips. Here are my 5 top tips for losing weight using the Slimming World plan. So, tip number 1, eat less. Okay, I don't want to sound simplistic, I don't want to sound arrogant, but really and truly the key to losing weight is quite simple. You've got to eat less food and eat less of the rubbish that is out there. And nobody knows better than me what that does to you, because I love it. We all do, don't we? I love cake, chocolate, puddings, desserts. Puddings and desserts, they're the same things. What am I talking about? I love everything like that. I love pizza, I love Indian meals, I love takeaways, I love all those things. And it's that has made me who I am today. Well, let's say who I was 4 months ago before I started dieting. You see, I was brought up eating pudding every day and eating packets of biscuits and all that sort of thing. I am a child of the baby boom era, when, you know, it was post-war, it was a time of plenty. So that was the way it was. Nobody thought of slimming and that sort of thing then. Rationing had just ended and everybody was thinking, this is great, this is wonderful, we've got all these new things, we've got all these beautiful shiny new products. And so that was the way I was brought up, and that's what modelled me for my life. And that's what made me get to 18 stone 5 pounds 4 months ago. And that is what led me to becoming diabetic a few years ago. So, seriously, it's got to be down to changing what you're doing and eating less. If you eat less, you exercise more, you lose weight. It's not rocket science. So that's my tip number 1. You see, the thing is, I do most of the shopping. It's the way we live. Jane's a teacher, she's out teaching all day, and so I do most of the shopping and I do most of the cooking. So every day I have to walk down that biscuit aisle and that cake aisle and that bread aisle in the supermarket. And that's exactly what I was doing before. Every time I walked down that aisle, I picked something up and I picked something up and I picked something up. And before I got home, I'd eaten a packet of cakes or a chocolate bar or something like that. Is it any wonder I was the size I was? Now, I walk down I don't look from side to side. I just keep going because I still love that sort of thing, but I'm not eating it. So that's tip number one. Tip number one, eat less. Simple as that. Now, I know that's not that easy. I know that isn't easy, and we'll come to that in a bit when we come to the other tips. Tip number two, keep a journal. Let me just get my journal here. See, the first few weeks when you're doing Slimming World, they ask you for the first 4 weeks to fill out a food diary, don't you? You fill out that diary saying everything that you've eaten, what your sins were, what you had for your healthy extra A and B and all that sort of thing. But after 4 weeks, it gets a bit more relaxed. You don't have to do that the same anymore. So when that 4 weeks was over, I thought, well, actually writing everything down has succeeded for me for a month. So I'm going to keep going. And so I bought myself this. This is my food journal. It's not just my food journal, it's a record of what I'm doing every day as well. Now, I've never been very good at keeping diaries. It's one of those things. Yeah, I was always the lad that got a diary on the 1st of January and wrote it for 3 days, and then the rest of it stayed empty for the rest of the year. But this, I've actually managed to keep up, and it's been one of the main keys to me keeping going. See those things on the front? I am so proud of those. In 12 weeks, these are all the stars that I've got at Slimming World. They go along, of course, whoops-a-daisy, they go along, of course, with all these things that they give you. This is all the certificates that I've picked up over the past 12 weeks. Do you know, seeing that grow on the front of that book, it's like a kid at school getting gold stars, and it's a sign of approval, it's a little bit of applause. It's, do you know, it's been so encouraging. Just a simple thing like that, and seeing your success grow like that is a key to keeping going, for me anyway. But this is my food journal, and what I do every day, I don't know whether you can see it clearly there, let's have a look. I write down in the column down here everything that I've eaten during the day, and I write whether it's speed food or whether it's a free food, whether it's a sin. And at the end of the day, I do a little tally at the end of the day as to what I've had, and I put down how many sins I've had that day. And that way, during the day, I can refer to it, and I say, okay, so I've had 2-3 sins so far today. Okay, I'll have a Fibre 190 bar, or I'll have a little Fibre 190 cake. I'll give myself that little treat at the end of the day of that something that gives me that little whatever, that little frissons of excitement. The chocolate buzz, the cake buzz, or whatever. But it's moderated. It's not the huge amount that I was piling in before. It's just a little taster, and I found that keeps me going. And writing everything down, writing it over and over again, keeping a good track of everything that you've cooked, everything that you've eaten, what you've liked, what you haven't liked, that's been definitely one of the best things that I've done. So tip number 2, keep a journal and write everything down. Tip number 3, think positively. Think positively and use what I call won't power, because that's in the end what we're doing. We're saying, I won't do that. I'm not going to do that anymore. This is how I've become. This is what I look like. I don't want to look like this. I don't want to be gasping every time I try and go upstairs or go for a walk and saying all the time, slow down, I can't keep up. We're going to say, I won't do that anymore. And I won't eat that packet of biscuits. I won't eat that cake. I won't do that. And that way, we keep going. And I keep going. That's the way I keep going. I say, I won't do that. Willpower, I find personally, is easier than willpower. Willpower I find much harder. For me, dieting is all about willpower. It's saying, I won't do that. I'm not going to do that anymore. I won't fill myself with rubbish. That's what it's been about, and that way I've lost weight. Now, exercise, on the other hand, that's more difficult for me. I was always the kid at school with the note. I was the one that didn't want to do PE. I hated exercise. But exercise needs willpower. It means I will get on that exercise bike. I will cycle for 20 minutes, half an hour. I will go out for a walk. I will do this and that. That I find much harder. And I'm battling with that one. And I will get there, hopefully. But willpower, I found, is easier. And that has been the key to the weight that I've lost so far. And I say think positively because I personally am what I would call an emotional eater. I think many of us are. If I get a bit down, if I get a bit fed up, then I reach for the cakes and the biscuits and all that sort of thing. And I stop loving myself. And I stop thinking positively. I stop going, no. What's the point? What's the point in this? What's the point in, sticking to it? It's bleeding hard work losing weight. It really is. You've got to put a lot of effort into it. You've got a lot of concentration to go on sticking with it and thinking all the time, what are you eating? What am I going to buy today? What am I going to cook today? And all that sort of thing. It's not easy. I know it's not easy. And I know that it's been easier for me this time than it is for a lot of people. So I do empathise with anybody out there that is finding it difficult sticking to the plan and sticking to everything. And I know how easy it is to go, no, it doesn't work for me, this doesn't, it's hard work, I can't do it, and I want a cake and I want this, I want that. But think positively, think I can do this. I have lost 2 pounds this week. And next week I'm going to try and lose another 2 pounds. And it can seem like a really, really long journey to get to what you want to be. I want to get down to around about just over 12 stone. That's a long way down from where I started at 18.5 to get down to 12 stone. But already I'm halfway there. And I know that if I keep going, even if it's only £1 a week, £2 a week, I will get there eventually, because what I'm doing is I'm changing my lifestyle. I'm changing the way I'm thinking about food, the way I'm thinking about exercise, and I'm changing the way I think about myself. And that is a key to it in many ways. So, tip number 3, think positively. Tip number 4, find new things that you like eating. It's very simple, isn't it? This whole sort of food consumption thing, isn't it? We know the things that are bad for us. We know the things that are all indulgent, like the chocolate and the cake and all that sort of thing. We know that they draw us in. And if we're going to take them out of life, if we're going to say, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. If we say, right, This is it. This is a new way forward. We can't just go, okay, I'm just going to eat salad for the rest of my life. Because we'd be miserable. I would be miserable like that. Do you know, if I end up with a day of food that I don't like, which has happened occasionally over the last few weeks. Sometimes I've tried a new recipe and I've spent hours cooking it and I'll put it on the table and I'll sit down to eat it and I don't like it. I think this is horrible. And I think, oh, God, and then I start to get miserable. I get very emotional when it all goes wrong, and I get very emotional if the food that I'm eating isn't giving me what I need. And so it's really, really, really important to find those things that you actually like. And so that it doesn't seem like a penance anymore. Don't just think to yourself, right, I'll just survive on a salad. If you don't like eating salad, if you do not like eating raw vegetables, then don't give yourself a hard time. It's just not worth it. There are lots of other things out there that you can eat that are good for you and will help you in your weight loss. I love rice. And there is a recipe in the Slimming World Takeaway book. It's the one on the cover, and it's for prawn fried rice. Special prawn fried rice, I think they call it. And it's gorgeous. It's just like fried rice from a restaurant or a takeaway or whatever. It really tastes exactly the same, but it's without all the fat and the oils. And so you can eat that and you can enjoy it. And there's an awful lot of other things out there that you can eat and enjoy. And it's important to try these different things and find the ones that you like. Because eating food that you like and food that you enjoy is the key to being able to be successful and to change the way that you eat. It doesn't seem like half the penance to cut out the cakes and the bread and all the things that I've cut out if I've got these other things. And little treats at the end of the day. I save my healthy extras. I don't have them in the morning. I save them for later. And I save my sins. I don't have many sins during the day if I can help it. I save them for the evening because I know that it's the evening when I'm sitting watching television, when I'm relaxing, that I want that little something. That's when the cravings come in. During the day I can get through it. During the day I can go, no, I'll just go and do something else. But at night it's more tricky. So I save them for later on. The hi-fi bars that you can buy at Group are gorgeous. I bought them last night. I bought a pack of the fruit and nut ones. They're my favourites. And you can have 2 of them as your healthy extra B. And that's like having 2 little bars of chocolate. And they're gorgeous. They're gooey and they're sweet and they are just enough. You know, in the old days I would have sat in there and a bar of chocolate. But it feeds that little thing inside me that says, yeah, this is a little reward, I like that. It's moderation. It's thinking about what you're eating and all that sort of thing. So find the things that you like and measure them throughout the day to give yourself what you need when you need it so that it's there. So that's it. Tip number 4, find things that you enjoy eating and it won't seem like half the penance. And finally, tip number 5 is a bit like tip number 3, but it's not exactly. Tip number 5, love yourself. it all sounds hairy-fairy, doesn't it? It all sounds, oh, a bit hippie, love yourself. But seriously, I mean it. You have got to find a love for yourself to get yourself through it. To get yourself through this ordeal, not just of losing weight, but breaking all those habits that have got you to the size that you were in the first place. And that's really, really hard. And some days it will be harder than others. But you've got to say to yourself, I love myself. I care about myself. And I don't want to do this anymore. This is the thing that, is it Network, the film, isn't it, where he opens up the window and he shouts, I'm mad as hell and I ain't not going to take this anymore. And all that. This is what, it's a similar sort of thing. It's that revelation moment. You say, no, I'm not going to do this to myself anymore. Look what I've done to myself. Look what I've made myself. I've made myself diabetic. I've made myself fat. I've made myself so that I can't actually get around in the way that I want to get around. I've knackered my knees up by putting too much weight on them. I've done all sorts of things and I've known that I've been doing them. But something about me has not cared. And I'm not going to do that anymore. I've decided to love myself instead of loving the food and of loving the other things that make me fat and make me horrible. And looking at yourself, not just physically helps. Look at the front of the journal. This is what I've done. This is what I do in the front of the journal. I didn't show you that. This is a great way to keep yourself going. Here we go. That's me when I started. That's me after a couple of months. That's me a couple of weeks ago. Look at the difference between these two guys. There's no comparison. And looking at that and then seeing this, that's motivation. It works. You've got to keep reminding yourself that actually you like this better than that. You actually like what you're becoming better than what you were. And it's not just physical, it's mental. The mental bit is the biggest part of the whole thing. Actually admitting to yourself that you've got these problems, you've got these habits, you've got these cravings that you give into, you've got these ways that you harm yourself. It's, overeating in many respects can be a form of self-harm. It feels like that sometimes. The times when I got down, I just go and fill myself up with crap. And it is, I think it is a form of self-harm, self-abuse. But, as with anything, if you take yourself in hand and start to think, I do that. That's one of the reasons that I do this, and that's one of the cues that I do that. Know yourself and remember to keep loving yourself, and that will help you get through. So that's it. That's my 5 tips for slimming real success. None of this business of, oh, go and do this before you get weighed, and none of that sort of thing. Because most of it is in here, and the success comes from within, it comes from you. So I hope this has been of interest to some of you. I hope that you keep coming and listening to what I've got to say and watching the videos, and I hope that it helps you in some way. Please, please, please subscribe below. please, when you've subscribed, hit the little bell and you'll get notifications telling you when I've put a new video on, which I'm doing every few days. I'm doing more and more of these little blogs, and I'm doing the recipes and that sort of thing too. If there's anything else that you'd like me to do, or if you get any questions, or if you've got anything that you want to say, please put it in the comments below. And until next time, I'll see you then. Bye.